here we will focus on the advanced problem of process costing. So here this process costing is specifically focused on equivalent production and work in progress in process costing. Okay, that means what? When the incompleted units are given or incomplete units are there in the process or in the production process, then how to allocate the cost of that incomplete units or work in progress, how we determine the cost of work in progress and the finished product as well, right? So that we will learn in this chapter. So I think it is not required more explanation of the process costing because you have already learned in your graduation level, right? It is a method of costing. It is method of determination of the cost where the production is depend on the various processes. That means process one, process two, process three, either process A, process B, and process C. So these are the basic fundamental. Let's go for the next concept of equivalent production. So now we will focus on the concept of equivalent production. What do you mean by equivalent production? Okay. So mind well, the concept of equivalent production is come into existence when there is a work in progress, when there is an incomplete unit. જ્યારે તમારા પ્રોસેસની અંદર incomplete unit હોય. Okay, incomplete unit, that means the things on which the complete process has not been carried out. Okay, that means some process is done and some process is still remaining. So that is called semi-finished good. That is called work in process, or we can say partly completed goods. So in that case we will require to convert the semi finished goods equivalent to the finished goods. Say for example, if the goods are completed at 50% level, then it is considered as 2 unit is equal to 1. As we said that half ticket, so 2 half ticket, that means is equal to 1 ticket. 2 half is equal to 1. Like 4 half is equal to 2. Okay, and 3 half is 6 half is equal to 3. So that kind of consideration is there. So in the same way, we will convert the semi-finished goods equivalent to the finished goods, and that is called equivalent production. So as you can read on your screen, what he said, equivalent production represent the production of a process in terms of completed unit. That means incompleted unit presented in the completed unit. Okay, to for the purpose of allocating cost, for the purpose of determination the cost per unit. At the end of any given period, there are likely to be a partly completed or work in process unit, and it is equivalent that some of the cost pertaining to this period are attributable. Attributable, that means chargeable, and now per charge करनी पड़े to the units which have not been completed. Okay, so just to spread the total cost equitably over a part of finished and fully complete unit, the concept of equivalent unit is required. જ્યારે જ્યારે આવું અધૂરો માલ અને પૂરો થયેલો માલ, okay, finished good and semi finished good, there are two kinds of goods are available, and you have to convert your semi finished goods in equivalent to the finished goods, and then after determine the cost and attribute the cost. And the number of equivalent unit is the number of equivalent fully completed unit. Number of equivalent unit is the number of equivalent fully complete units which the partly completed units represented. Okay, partly completed unit suppose 800 હોય અને 50% જ કામ થયું, so it will consider as 400 unit complete. Getting? હું જો કહું છું એ સમજણ પડે છે કે અધૂરા તૈયાર થયેલા જે માલ છે, સપોઝ 1000 યુનિટ ઇનકમ્પ્લીટેડ છે અને એના ઉપર 60% જ કામ થયું છે, તો that means what? It represents 600 completed units. You got it? Okay, if you are getting, just response me in the chat box. Yes, if you are not getting, just say no. Are you getting what I am explaining here? Yes, Sadiq Ali said yes. Vittu Parmar, Sneha, yes, very good, very nice response. Okay, Patel Pooja, very nice, very nice. So you are getting it. Okay, so જ્યારે બી અધૂરા અધૂરું કામ થયેલું હોય, ઇનકમ્પ્લીટ કામ થયેલું હોય, તો એને કમ્પ્લીટ કામની અંદર કન્વર્ટ કરવું પડે. અને that conversion process is known as equivalent production. Equivalent એને એકરૂપ કરવું, એક સમાન કરવું, એમ આપણે કહીએ છીએ. So this is the concept of equivalent production. Example આપ્યું છે, let us assume that given period production was 3000 completed unit and 800 partly completed unit, and the partly completed unit were deemed to be 75% complete. Then total equivalent production is equal to completed unit is plus work in progress. Okay, so completed unit 3000 and 75%, that means 3/4, we can say like that. Okay, 75% 3/4 કહી શકાય. જો તમને એવું ના ફાવતું હોય તો 75% ડાયરેક્ટ કરી શકો છો. You must have the calci. Okay, and not necessary the calci. Now you are the senior students. Okay, you can calculate yourself. 75% of 800 and 3/4 of 800 having the same answer. Right? 75% કરીએ કે 3/4 કરીએ, બધી વસ્તુ એક જ છે. ઓકે, આટલું તમને ખબર પડતી હશે. તો 800 ના 75% 600 and total production is called 3600 units. Okay, so production આમ કેટલું કહેવાય, 3800 unit, but 800 is not completed fully, right? That completed 75%, and that's why that will equivalent to 600 finished goods. So the total completed unit is 3600 units. Getting? And the total cost will be spread over the total equivalent production. And પછી total cost ને આપણે equivalent production સાથે divide કરીને cost per unit calculate કરીએ છીએ. So cost per unit is equal to total cost divided by total equivalent production. So this is the process of determination of the cost in case of equivalent production, in case of work in progress, in case of semi-finished goods, right? I hope I am success to explain you or this concept of equivalent production. આટલે સુધી બધાને ખબર પડી છે. Let's go ahead, આગળ વધીએ છીએ. Now equivalent units and cost elements. Equivalent unit દરેક કોસ્ટ એલિમેન્ટ વાઇઝ જુદું જુદું પણ હોઈ શકે છે. મતલબ કે મટીરિયલના પોઈન્ટ ઓફ વ્યૂથી 70% પૂરું થયું હોય, લેબરના પોઈન્ટ ઓફ વ્યૂથી અલગ પૂરું થયું હોય, overhead point of view the so elements of cost, you know that elements of cost means material, labor and overhead. Okay, so from the different elements of cost, from the different point of view of the elements of cost, maybe completion level different. Okay, so according to that we need to determine the cost of each elements. Okay, how it is works, let us seen by a practical example. Okay, so this is the problem for the month of January 2020. Production is this, and these are the detailed information about the cost, material, wages, and overheads. Total cost is 10,000, and production was 3000 fully completed unit and 200 partly completed unit. The degree of completion of 200 incomplete units was as follows: material 75%, labor 60%, and overhead 50%. Calculate the cost equivalent production, cost per unit, per completed unit, and value of work in progress. I am not calculating value of work in progress as well as value of finished goods. Finished goods ની પણ આપણે value calculate કરી લઈશું. So let's see how we solve this example. ચલો જોઈએ આ example કઈ રીતે solve થાય છે. Okay, are you getting this example well? Example ની રકમ બરાબર બધાના માઇન્ડમાં આવી ગઈ છે? Okay. This is the solution. First of all, we need to calculate equivalent production, equivalent unit. So how we calculate equivalent unit? So there are 3000 finished goods and 100% complete. So 100% complete from material point of view, okay, from labor point of view, and for the overhead point of view. આ ત્રણેયના point of view થી, okay, અહીંયા તમને દેખાય છે. Then WIP, okay, WIP, work in progress 200 unit total units, but it is completed 75% from the material point of view. Material point of view is 75% complete. So 150 units are completed. How this 150? It is 75% of 200. In the same way, this is 60%, and this is 120. This is 50%. This is 100. Getting? Okay. How this percentage is? This percentage is given here. This one is. These are the percentage given to you. Okay. Material, labor, and overheads. Okay. So 75%, 60%, and 50%. And the total is 3,200 output total. Material point of view, it is 3,150. Labor point of view, it is 3,120. And overhead point of view, it is 3,100. So these are the equivalent production. Equivalent production થઈ બધા. Okay. હવે equivalent production ના basis ઉપર second statement we are required to prepare that statement of cost per unit. So for material point of view, 3,000 is the cost and 3,150 units. So this is your cost per unit. In the same way, labor and labor cost per unit. This is overheads and overhead cost per unit. And the total cost is 3.2012 for the finished goods. So what is the total cost? Total cost of finished good is very easy, 3,000 unit, and this is cost per unit as we calculated above. Okay, and this is the answer. Okay, 3,000 multiply this 3,000 multiply 3.2012. Okay, this is multiply of this, and this is equal to. Done. In the same way, the same thing is not possible in the work in progress, but because in the work in progress, finished goods, material, labor, and overhead, the units are different, and that's why we will require to calculate the cost, total cost from every elements of cost. દરેક એલિમેન્ટ નું જુદું જુદું કેલ્ક્યુલેટ કરવું પડશે. તમે જોઈ શકો છો લાસ્ટ આજે દેખાય છે. Here in finished goods point of view, there are 3,000, 3,000, and 3,000. Okay, you can calculate separately for material, from labor and overhead. Okay, and then after make the total of it. But the answer is remain same, and that's why for material finished goods we will calculate directly with multiply with the total cost. But in work in progress, we will calculate like this. This multiply this is equal to this. Getting this. This is equal to. This is equal. Done.